Hello YouTube, Jerry Kirkpatrick here, and here we are with the sixth and final episode in the 2025 metal bashing meet here at my shop up here in Northern California. And this demonstration will be by Curtis Patience, and his demonstration will be quite unique, I think, for most of you. He uses the Italian method of metal shaping, which requires merely a solid piece of metal for his anvil, and then using different shaped hammers, he actually raises material. The demonstration is quite intensive in that he will do some shaping for a while, and then he'll actually stop and explain what he's doing, or he'll answer a question. In that, it was quite hard to edit the demonstration without basically showing the whole thing. A lot of times you saw in some of the other demonstrators where they would be doing a process for quite some time. I'd either cut when they started and then bring it back again when they got finished with a specific process, or fast forward it. It was difficult to do that with Curtis. He would pound on the material for a length of time and then let you know what was happening. Also, for me, I found it as important to listen to and watch how he manipulated his left hand to present the material to his anvil. If you listen real close as he's pounding, you'll hear a difference. You'll hear sometimes he's on dolly, sometimes he's off dolly. And if you listen, like I did, it was mesmerizing to me. You could listen to the hammer making a different sound, and you could see him pause and find the point where the metal was making contact with the anvil. That's where he wanted to start again. And you've just got to watch and listen as much as anything else. His demonstration took just about a half an hour, and you're going to see most of that in this video. I mentioned in, I think it was Ron Covell's second video, that there was a 16-minute area where I cut it out because it was a lot of questions and answers, a lot of good talking amongst the audience and Ron and the other demonstrators, and a lot of the audience itself was very knowledgeable. So the banter going around for that 16 minutes, that I'm going to put at the end of this series, and that will be a standalone video. And also, the second half of Curtis's demonstration, which was almost as long as the first parts that you're going to be seeing here, he finished his demo, and then he was just inundated with questions, not only about the shaping that he was doing, but how interested everybody was in how he got involved with metal shaping and some of the projects that he's done. And it's just amazing, the amount of questions and answers that went on after his regular demonstration was over. So that will be also a video, a standalone video that will be next. I'm going to finish this video on Curtis's demonstration. Next, I'm going to present his second half of his demonstration, which was just questions and answers. And I think you'll find that as intriguing as watching him work his magic just with a flat anvil and a hammer.
In English.
So here we go.
The reason I do it this way is 95% of the cars I've worked with over the past 46 years are Italian, pre-65. And being able to take a lot of them down to zero that have never been restored, I was able to really study and see how they were made. You can see all the handwork, all the tooling marks, and that's kind of how I took my cues on how to restore them.
Very cool.
So I have used an English wheel. I have used an English wheel here and there, but not a whole lot. I did a Duesenberg and a couple of Troutman and Barnes cars. And that's about it. Nailing's just been French and Italian. So I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I've ever done this in front of people. But this is some 300350 that I annealed with a torch, and I use a Sharpie. And what I found was, blacksmith taught me this one. You can get a piece of wood, and when the wood leaves paper bag brown mark on the metal, that's about 600 degrees. And I tested that against a Sharpie, and I found that if you use a Sharpie but use the torch on the underside, it's pretty dead on to about 600 degrees. So that's kind of how I do it. And it's I've seen the soot method, and that just kind of puts all the junk up in the air, and you don't want to breathe it. So what I'm going to do with this piece, I'm going to put a low crown on half of it, and then I'm going to put a deeper crown on the other half of it. And we'll just kind of dive right in. It's a little noisy, so I'm probably not going to, I can take breaks and talk, and if there's any questions, feel free to jump in.
Curtis, I have a question.
Yeah.
So what radius curvature is the face of the hammer you're starting with?
It's a pretty low crown. Yeah, probably like a hood or a trunk deck or something.
Yeah, got it.
So this just kind of. And so every hit is putting a little crown in there.
But it's everything just you plain pulling up while you're hammering. You're not, there's no...
No, this is just a dead weight basically, and it's nice that it's this heavy because it absorbs some of the noise. And then the way the flat plate is nice is kind of as Ron was rocking the piece to find his high spots. You just kind of do the same with this, and you just kind of feel it in your hand where your flat spots are. You can hear that noise there. Same. And that's starting to get a nice little crown on it. And this is from my research, basically how armor was made, just flat plates and anvils. And it looks like it's a little flat in the middle, right there.
Explain how you're holding the hammer real light in two fingers.
Yeah, I just lever it. I've heard horror stories of people blowing out their shoulders and elbows and wrists. So I'm using the weight of the hammer to do the work. It's aluminum.
Do you shape steel this way on a regular basis?
I've not done a lot of steel. Yeah, predominantly aluminum. Very, very little steel. I brought a book that shows some of the steel work I've done, but yeah, mostly it's just aluminum.
You use
303 or?
Yeah, 3003.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about
1100 over here, so
Yeah, you can't really get 1100. We were talking about that earlier.
expensive.
Yeah, and it's just no one stocks it anymore. There's not a real need for it.
Right.
Like I said, McMaster Carr has it in the catalog, but when you go to the website and look at it, it just says not in stock.
Oh.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So I see the muscles in your arms right there.
yeah.
And so that means that you're pulling and your thumb is sort of pushing a little?
I'm just kind of, I'm using this to guide the metal. See if you can see it from, I'm kind of moving it as I'm hammering it.
Okay.
So I'm not so much pushing as I'm guiding.
Kind of rolling it so
Kind of rolling it.
under your hammer.
Yeah, so I can, as I'm doing that, I can feel where the tangent points are, where the low spots are going to be, where I want to kind of work.
So you're not just hanging onto the metal?
No, it's, yeah, action guide, kind of.
Okay.
Curtis, I do have another question.
Yeah.
So how would you control it if you want more curvature north and south versus more curvature east and west? How do you go about that?
With the hammer, just by how you move it around.
Can you be more specific? What if you wanted more from what's top to bottom as I view it?
So more crown this way.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Let's.
So harder hits in a smaller area while rocking the piece, is that?
Kind of more or less, yeah.
Okay, that was a good answer. Thanks.
And as you can see, as I put more shape in the middle, this area kind of sunk down. You can feel it, you can hear the tangent point there. And this is a good way to keep people away from you in the shop because they don't like the noise.
Hey Curtis?
Yes.
Good question. So the flat spots or depression or whatever it is that you're trying to raise up, you don't just hit directly in wherever the center of that.
You can, or you can bump.
Okay.
You know, by raising it on the high spot and then hitting right next to it, it's gonna bump it up. Yeah, dolly off, exactly. Yeah.
Is moving it,
Yeah.
dolly off is bringing it
Yeah,
up.
I'll really illustrate that when I do the deeper crown.
And
Yeah.
do you engage it in kind of like a pattern or? You just
Not really. It's just kind of intuitive, just spontaneous
Gotcha.
thing.
Just the sound alone, right?
Right,
I
so
mean,
it's-
Yeah.
versus a
Yeah, and you can hear if it's hitting on the metal relative to hitting off the metal. Yeah, off or on. So we're getting a good crown here. And again, having studied a lot of these cars, back to zero. There were no patterns. They were just moving it around where it needed to go. Yeah. Now, as you can see on this side, it really started sinking down. So.
A lot of tension in that in a very short time.
Yeah, it works pretty fast, and it's kind of like Ron was illustrating again with the rocking. You can immediately see where your low spots are, and work on that area. And then if you're working with a buck, also you really can it's just a different guide. I rarely use bucks. I made a buck for a grill I was making for a Delahaye, just because I had to make each of the 4 pieces in 2 pieces. So I wanted to make sure they're all the same. But
So that complicated shape behind you was made with no buck?
this,
Yeah.
I made a wire frame with just some heavy welding rod. So what I would do is I would pick up the high spot on both X and Y, and then I just figure out where I wanted to have. So a very minimal frame.
If you're not doing any working on the buck, then.
Yeah, well, again, just looking at books and studying it, that's how Italians work. They just made a quick wire frame, and you see pictures of it. There'll be blocks of wood holding it up off the tires, and they really didn't spend a lot of time making bucks.
Curious before you start hammering again. So as you're moving that node, you say you guide your action, and the feel in your hand. That's kind of mostly what you're going.
Yeah.
When you're finding those flat spots. When you rock it, what you're feeling is less rock in the flat spot areas. Is that what?
Yeah, well, it's the tangent point where the 2 high spots and the low spots not hitting the plate. So it's a low spot in the metal, but a high spot on the plate, I guess, is a.
Yeah. Because you gotta have 3 points, right, on the plane in order for it to be. Never mind. Go ahead.
Rock. Yeah. Not this one.
We'll go a little more on the low crown.
This wave top, so.
And it doesn't need to be a polished plate or anything. It can just be anything.
Yeah. Now, because you have so many indentations where you're hitting at, you're relying, I'm assuming, and this is a question, you're relying more on your hand and the feel of those tensions as opposed to what you're seeing with your eyes.
It's a balance of all 3.
Okay.
I mean, the rocking's telling you where it is, and your eyes are telling you where that spot is. Your eyes are guiding the hammer, but your right hand's telling you where the hammer needs to hit. Yeah. And it's kind of crude, but this is how these cars were built. It's a fairly low crown. Okay, well maybe we'll jump over to the deepness now.
And what radius will be the
Bodging.
Yeah, a shaping hammer.
Why is that one so much heavier?
It's for really moving it, for getting a lot more shape.
I see.
Yeah, and I'm going to use the shot bag to get my basic shape, and then I'm going to use this, basically my tree stump. Now you're really going to see the tangent point with these deep hits.
Hammer?
Yeah.
I just recognized it.
What kind of hammer is it?
Cobblers?
Okay, for shoes.
Got a big flat face, it's all that matters, right?
Yeah, and small.
Weight,
It's
yeah.
got a lot of weight, yeah. I guess Lazzy wouldn't like me, huh? I also brought a Dixon. I use this sometimes as well.
Question for you on a normal day, how long do you do this?
Not all day.
Not all day.
This I did in about 3 days.
Do the rest of the guys in the shop put you in a room padded?
No, I'm a one-man operation. I don't.
An operation.
Yeah, I don't have any help.
Otherwise, the rest of the guys would be beating on you.
Pretty much, they'd be running.
Well, 2 questions. One, have you played drums before?
Yep.
All right, so that makes sense. Your technique's in the hand, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I took a art class in college. And the instructor was a metalsmith, and he said, "There's muscles in your arms that only drummers and metalsmiths get."
Yeah. And the way you're doing your fingers too, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is, obviously you're not in your shop, and the height of your anvil and stuff like that's kind of dictated by what you have available there.
Yeah.
Do you typically find that you want to have it higher up?
The surface?
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like the way you set your anvil is. That's generally where you want your anvil, is what a blacksmith told me. So this is a little high, so my arm's a little more pulled up, yeah.
You might actually, like the strain you were trying to, you might have more up here, whereas if you have it lowered,
it's going to be a little more natural.
Yeah. You can do
When
that
you're
click more.
standing, the anvil should be at your knuckles. My anvil is that high.
Yeah.
Roughly flat.
Definitely probably do a lot better doing that.
And in your shop, are you working on a wood stand or a metal stand?
What I'm standing on, or on?
No, when you're working, are you?
Yeah, I'm on a metal stand.
You're
This
on a metal
is
stand?
generally on my table. Yeah.
What is that, a weldment? That anvil?
It's steel.
Is it solid?
Oh yeah, almost solid.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost. Oh, it's got a hollow bottom.
Compression. It's got a couple of leaves in it.
So that's a found object.
No, this is from Eddie Meyer's shop. He had him.
That's right.
Yeah, he had this made, I guess, in 1977.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think it was intentionally made with reliefs, or do you think?
Probably just didn't need to be completely solid. And then he made a little stand for it that I can with a square, so I can stick it in a vise or something.
You only need to weigh 140 pounds to 175.
If you steal it, you deserve it. Since you are hammering so much, right? That is your process. And you talked about, earlier on in the presentation of some of that force going into that item because it's more solid. I mean, is that one of your main concerns? I mean, obviously, you're talking about blowing out your shoulder, blowing out is the dissipation of that force something that you're...
No, that's kind of why I try to I use the lever in my hand when I'm hitting rather than swinging.
Because then you would actually...
Because I've worked with a lot of old timers that have just developed severe arthritis or just...
It's not that action, it's actually that force reverberating.
It's the shock going through each hit, yeah.
So it's safe to assume that you don't have a lot of big power tools in your shop.
I have a planishing hammer.
Yeah.
I have a pull max.
Power hammer or anything like that?
No, I don't have a power. I'd love to have one, but yeah, one's not found me yet.
your variety of hammers? 10, 15?
My which?
How many hammers you actually use?
5 or 6, depending on what I'm doing. But I have about 100 different hammers, just all with different crowns and different square, round heads, wedges. Yeah, there's a hammer for everything. And I like the old hammers, honestly, because if I'm doing a job and I have all my tools laying around me and I need a hammer, I'm looking for a handle rather than all the different, because all the Snap-on hammers have all the same handle. Yeah.
You know some blacksmiths?
A few.
Toby Hickman?
No, not Toby.
Never heard Toby?
I know.
His name was everything in the shop should be on the floor. And all you're looking for is the handle.
Yeah, exactly. You know what tool you need and your eye is going to find it.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that all you guys, Mick, Ron, Lazzy, and you all do the same job. Here's a piece of flat metal, shape it. But the techniques are so different. Lazzy's using no hammers and all wheel. Ron's using mostly wheel with very little hammer, and he's doing about half and half, and you're using all hammer, but y'all get the same end.
It's the same thing, but as someone mentioned, I mean, the English wheels, it's a hammer and an anvil. It's just in a different configuration. It's doing the same thing. You're just stretching and you're just pushing it around. Yeah, you're just moving it.
So do you typically not do any shrinking to speak of?
Oh, no, I do some shrinking.
But predominantly like the part you have there, did you stretch almost all of it?
Yeah. This one?
Yes.
These lower crowns here, I probably did some shrinking with the with a shot bag. And this is my planishing and shrinking hammer. It's a nice wide flat face. Works really well.
So you form a tuck and flatten the tuck with that hammer?
No, I think you kind of touched on it, Ron. You can just kind of stick this in here and just shrink right. Imagine the metal's here. You can just the aluminum will push into itself.
But if it's a flat sheet, so you would dome it first and then.
Yeah, I think if you had too much shape, you can take a little bit out.
But talking about so you said you did some shrinking on that part.
Yeah, probably up in here.
But
I don't remember.
After you started pulling the shape into it, right?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't shrink a flat piece with that bag.
Not a flat piece. Yeah, you got to have some shape to erase.
Okay, that answers the question.
But yeah, it is an effective way, and I was talking with a Kiwi friend of mine, Richard, and I'd never really used a tree stump. And I had asked him, well, what's the advantage of a tree stump? And as soon as he said cold shrinking, yeah, you have a solid thing. That's what I use. I'll be using this for. So you have a solid thing that you're forcing the metal kind of into itself, for lack of a better.
Curtis, sorry to the question. So your primary method I see is you're doing your hammer and you're stretching material. Do you have issues with this method and the reduction of your dip resistance? Or is a lot of that taken care of through work hardening with all the hammering?
Compound curves are fairly strong. Yeah, that's why you look at these Tesla trucks and they're just perfectly flat.
No crown.
I mean, just no crown. Just
Nissan hard body pickups. Those trucks are so flimsy. All the panels are so flat. Not much crown in any of the panels.
Well, yeah. So it's multiple. Number of radii.
Yeah.
So if you take it into a radius.
You got me.
That's why you put this in the inches or corners.
it's a little deeper. So now I'll play around with this thing and show you how I use this.
What is that? Is it just a block of wood?
It's just a block of wood with a V cut in it, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Curtis, I know this is from person to person, but it seems like when your hammer is in motion, it sounds like you have a consistent BPM, and really it's just the intensity of the strikes is changing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's a click track. I'm a musician, so I've been listening. He's pretty consistent. The sound engineers in Nashville would love you.
Click track, nice. And so if you can see, as I did these deeper hits, it's kind of started raising up here. So I gotta.
So there you have Curtis's demonstration. I would think that you found that quite interesting, how he could control how much movement he would get out of a piece of material by not using a sandbag or a English wheel or anything else. Just one time he used a shot bag to start some movement, and then he went right straight to his hammer and anvil. So I think that was a fantastic demonstration. After this video, the next one that you will see, which you should come back and watch, is the question and answer segment that was right after his demonstration. It won't be too long. I think it's about 22 minutes, and that'll be pared down, I'm sure. So there's as much information in he and the audience bantering back and forth. There, a lot of information was passed back and forth, and I think a lot of you will get some good information from that. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ring the little bell so you keep up with some of the other videos that I'll be making. See you later.